What's up, my beautiful buttercups? I am so incredibly grateful that you are here right now and that we are able to connect with one another in this moment. I fully trust that it is no mistake that you found this video today. And before we get into dissecting this energy of this transit, I actually want to share a funny story with you. So I once heard about this astrologer who went to a party one night. And this was your fancy dancy party, okay? It's where the hors d'oeuvres were being served and you wore your nicest clothes and you presented your best self to the world. So the astrologer arrives at the house and he goes in. And as he enters the room where all the guests are sprinkled about, he was handed a glass of wine. And you know, this is the kind of wine that is more expensive than your car payment, yet tastes like someone's broken promises. Now, this poor little fellow, he had never drank wine before. So he was amongst all of these people and trying to look sophisticated while secretly wondering where the heck could he pour this out and go get some grape juice instead? So he came up with a plan. He was going to walk around the room for a little bit, make an appearance at the food table, grab some cheese, stop to mingle with a group or two, and then make his exit from the festivities. Well, he does just that. And after he leaves the food table, he joins a group that has actually gathered right beside the exit door. He stood there observing, just taking tiny sips of this nasty tasting wine. And of course, he discovered that the group was talking about astrology. Now, as they're chit-chatting, curiosity got the best of him, and he interrupted the conversation. He said, "You know, Miss Gemini, I really love learning astrology. Would you mind sharing with me what your ruling planet is?" Well, let me tell you something. Miss Gemini did not miss a beat. She quickly said, "Why, Mercury, of course." The astrologer nodded confidently, like he had unlocked all of Miss Gemini's secrets. He held up his wine glass and said, quick thinking, adaptable, intuitive, and maybe even a little chaotic. And then he gave her a wink. Well, Miss Gemini just smiled sweetly and said, "No, not at all. I have terrible luck with technology and my ex keeps texting me." Now, by this time, the cheap wine was doing the trick, okay? So the astrologer turned to Mr. Aquarius and asked him the same thing. Uranus the Aquarian exclaimed, boasting like he was ruled by the best planet in the solar system. The astrologer abruptly lit up. "Oh, how exciting! You're revolutionary, unique, and rebellious." The man looked at him a bit puzzled. "Not at all. Uranus is literally telling me I'm an asshole." Folks, that gap between what we assume to be right and what's actually true is what I want to talk about today. You see, the astrologer in our story thought that he knew exactly what Miss Gemini and Mr. Aquarius were like, but by talking to the actual people experiencing the ruling planet's energy, he discovered a totally different truth. This is why I hold the opinion that reading astrology books is good. But going out and speaking to the people that actually experience the transits teaches you patterns that not everyone else has noticed yet. And from what I have found, when you have Mercury, the planet of communication, meeting Uranus, the planet of sudden change and disruption, in chatty Gemini, the adaptable, curious sign, you get a moment where life pulls back the curtains a little bit to open up your eyes. Suddenly, we are able to see some truths and gain clarity around situations that we are in where we thought we knew the truth, but by experience, we had it totally wrong. What we thought was steady shifts. What we trusted wobbles. What we thought was safe changes. This transit gives us an unconventional opportunity. When Mercury conjuncts Uranus, we're invited to think differently and out of the box and in these creative, revolutionary ways. This is a wonderful time for you to understand your vision, which is Mercury, find your community of like-minded people, Gemini, and have it happen abruptly or when you least expect it, Uranus. Some of you know what your gifts are. Maybe you even have a plan on how you want to implement them and share them with the collective. But it feels as though you can't get the proper support from those that are around you. It's almost like you're running this relay race and your teammates keep dropping the baton. You can't get ahead in the race because no one is helping you. In fact, they're actually slowing you down. This might look like having to face criticism from those that you are closest to, or having someone who pretends to listen to what you have to say, but really doesn't hear, understand, or believe in you. It may mean some of you actually fight others that try to shrink your vision because your dream triggers something within them. Or you have to deal with a person who tries to manipulate you because your mission this lifetime would force them to lose the comforts that you provide them. No matter what battle you are waging war against with this transit, one thing is crystal clear. Your nervous system knows what's for your best and highest good, not the people that are currently around you. When your nervous system is relaxed, you are no longer exhausted from constantly running the race on your own. Right now, there is this inner tension brewing inside of you because your soul knows the truth. You're holding yourself back each and every time one of the people in your life drop the baton on you, and you keep running the race with them. Here's the one thing that I love with this current conjunction though. Energy is going to be able to open up and flow easier now because that curtain is being pulled back for you to see things that you weren't able to previously realize. When these two planets meet, they liberate your communication. If your throat chakra is blocked, Uranus will come in like a wrecking ball and clear your throat so that you can confidently speak your truth, no matter who gets upset. And you may find yourself actually unpredictably doing this, much to your own surprise. I do want to warn you. This transit could cause you to dramatically remove some people from your life, or at least take a time out for a minute just while things recalibrate. Uranus and Mercury conjuncting shows you that creating a cultivating community sure beats constantly trying to convince a crowd of your truths. Right now, it may feel like your seed is in some rocky soil that feels like hell trying to grow in. But when Mercury meets Uranus and Gemini, you have all of the ingredients to surround your seed with some fertile soil that has all of the nutrients that you need to grow to your healthiest version. Every spring where I live, maple trees send their little seeds spinning in the air. You may have seen them before. I call them helicopters because they just whirl, right down to the ground from the sky and go wherever the wind wants to take them. Now, in my backyard, I actually have two very, very different environments. Below my huge maple tree, I actually have a rock bed that surrounds my fire pit. And this area is where I have laid down rock on top of what once was my grass. And right beside it, I have some raised garden beds, just full of rich soil, compost, and all the good stuff to grow my veggies. Anyways, on a windy day, two of those little helicopters must have landed on the ground. One in the rocks and one in the raised garden bed. Now, I must admit, I've been out of town traveling recently and neglected my backyard. But I did notice before I left that both seeds had actually sprouted. So imagine my surprise when I came home yesterday and I went out back and discovered the height difference between those two maple seedlings. I was astounded. Both of them found a way to grow. Both of them pushed up towards the light. But the one in the raised bed, man, oh man, had it shot up. I mean, it had to be at least 5 times the height of the one growing in between the rocks. Listen, those seeds were practically the same. They came from the same exact tree, had the same exact potential, had the same exact promise, had the same exact weather. The only difference was the ground that they grew in and the environment surrounding the seed. The soil that fed the seed in the garden bed was a whole community of nutrients, help, and care. The seed was allowed to thrive and was supported by everything around it. Now, the rocks didn't try to kill the other seed. Why, Lord, no. The rocks did allow the seed to grow. The problem was the rocks didn't have the right tools to support and feed the seed the necessary nutrients for its maximum potential. So yes, you can grow in tough places, and that's mighty brave and resilient of you. But why stay in a place you're barely surviving in when there's rich soil somewhere else waiting to support you? Find the environment that waters your dreams, the people that feed your growth, and the place that nurtures your soul. Don't be ashamed of where you started. Be intentional about where you plant yourself. Don't let the wind dictate which environment you grow up in. That was your childhood. As an adult, you decide. And be intentional with who and what you surround yourself with. It matters more than you actually realize. There's a saying that goes, a rising tide lifts all boats. That tide didn't select some boats to rise and cause some boats to sink. No. It provides the necessary environment that allows all boats to rise that it touches. And this is what finding the right community will be like for you. People that want to see you succeed. Connections that build you up instead of tear you down. Networks that can help you find the exact right people who are able to help you on your journey forward. And a community that understands the way you think and works with you. You don't need any more critics in your life. You need collaborators. You don't need any more commentary. You need companions on this journey. Mercury's energy is adaptable. It's that energy that's quick and curious. But when it's paired with Uranus and Gemini, Mercury becomes electric. It's driven to break free the moment something or someone tries to restrict its growth. So expect some radical breakthroughs with this transit. And the beautiful thing is, with this energy in our skies, it will speed up the process. Because you have a quick planet working with an abrupt planet in a very restless sign. Count on some hard conversations with people who disagree with you and criticize you, or some spontaneous fights with anyone who tries to limit you. It's an impulsive time where you no longer hold back what you really think and feel. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Authentic self-expression is fundamental to becoming who you are meant to be. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And you can't become who you truly are without announcing your truths to others. And you just never know when displaying your own authenticity, when it will plant seeds in others that are able to grow by using you as an example. We have shifted timelines in Earth's history. Right now, we are consciously building the new Earth with our thoughts, words, and actions. New Earth will be a place where you can live authentically with your light, and you do not have to dim for anyone. Energies in our sky are aligning in certain ways to help us reach our core truth so we can move to the new earth as the old one passes away. We are in the in-between stage right now. And so I will say, because of that, you're between two worlds. You may feel a little chaotic right now. Like everything's moving too fast and colliding suddenly without much warning. And that's totally understandable. When this transit is at its peak, confusion can set in because your words, actions, and reactions are happening at a rapid pace, and your nervous system doesn't have time to recalibrate and relax. So it seems like you're all out of whack and you just don't know what to do. It's almost like you're a bowling pin right now. I mean, just think of a set of pins that are set up perfectly at the end of a bowling lane. The instant the ball hits those bowling pins, everything scatters. Those pins have absolutely no idea where they will land. They're only reacting to the force that is outside of them trying to make them move. If you feel like that bowling pin in the moment of impact, remember this. God can take your scattered thoughts, your snap reactions, your awkward, messy experiences, and turn them into a real breakthrough. Breakthroughs cause change, and change is needed to head in the direction that you are going this lifetime. And although this transit starts out with some confusion, the real purpose of it is to bring you clarity. What is your message to the world? What is your story? Who supports you? Who helps you grow? Where is your community at? I want to point out that the Gemini constellation represents a set of twins. And in mythology, the twins actually had different fathers. One had a divine father, one had a physical father. So one was going to live forever and one was going to die. When these two planets conjunct in the sign of Gemini, it's a fertile time for some divine and physical epiphanies. I cannot stress enough to listen to your inner wisdom and what it is telling you during this time. Your soul knows. It will be no accident you randomly get a sudden insight about something that you need to do or something that you can invent to solve a problem. Listen to that message that comes through. It can lead to some surprising changes in your life. Even if the words jolt you, remember, a thought that liberates you is worth the lightning. Now, if you are watching this video right now, you are online. And I don't just mean physically online. I mean, your energetic field is awake, aware, and online. You're not walking through life asleep and ignorant of what is going on with these transits. There is a whole collective that is not awake yet. They are still navigating life through the lens of the physical. When these two planets meet, it's going to awaken a whole collective. They will receive sudden knowledge that leads them to study more and figure out how to energetically get online. And this could actually help you in terms of the people that keep dropping the baton on you in the relay race that we were talking about earlier. Someone you least expect could get random divine information, maybe about opening their third eye or having a dream about some hidden wisdom that just totally changes how they handle their life. I expect to see more psychic awakenings when Uranus meets Mercury. And with these abrupt awakenings, you may notice people going through a dark night of the soul. Not only is this a powerful time to find your community and your support system, it's a potent time to recalibrate your nervous system. What triggers bring out reactions that are electrifying? Why can this trigger cause a destabilization of your inner system? Some of you may reach a crisis point, but I want to remind you that you can use your intelligent mind to go back to your childhood to close the loops that are currently open so that you are able to soften. When was the first time that you were abandoned? When was the first time you had to fight for your authenticity? What do you cling to? What makes you terrified if you were to lose it? Meditate on these questions and become a surgeon. Go into the deepest inner workings and reframe what happened. When the loop is open, you attract the same scenarios over and over. That keeps your nervous system stimulated. If you gently connect the two ends, the loop closes. And when something arises in your environment, it's no longer free in your body trying to find a place to connect. It's whole on its own. So you will find your outer circumstances no longer get you to erupt. With all transits, we are the microcosm in the macrocosm. In our universe, the small reflects the large, and the individual contains patterns of the whole. So for the individual, we will have the appropriate energy to find our soul tribe and heal our triggers so that our nervous system can finally rest. As far as the collective and what we will see on a world scale with this transit, you can expect some shocking meetups between people that you didn't realize were actually connected, or between leaders that you never thought would conversate together. There can be short talks that trigger plans for the world and shift things away from what we are doing right now. Expect some reactions when these groups meet. You know, it may be leaders that are coming together, but Uranus, or they may seem like they're coming together, but Uranus has this hint of not trying to stay as a cohesive unit. She likes to rebel. So let's say two people come together to make peace talks. One side may not listen. And this could create anxiety in the world or a state of confusion. It'll be a bowling pin moment. Like, why are they meeting? What is the bigger picture? What are they planning? It can cause uneasiness in the collective. But with these two planets being in Gemini, some of us will actually receive divine wisdom and sudden insights as to what is actually going on with the bigger picture of the leaders of the world today and what they are doing. And with Mercury here, expect these fellow humans to speak out about these divine messages that they receive. Count on a push for sure for our continued digital communication that can be tracked, and using AI to do our thinking for us. The old paradigm wants your thinking reliant on artificial intelligence, not your natural brain. And remember, nothing artificial is ever as good in the long run as the natural. This is a time where shocking truths are revealed about what those in power are trying to do secretly to the collective, because they are desperately trying to cling to the old world. In the old world, they have power and they do not want to lose that. I also see some of us who are hyper aware of energies and super intuitive taking a break from our phones and our computers. With these energies, a sensitive soul may easily experience overwhelm to the point it makes you sick to keep your nervous system overstimulated by the energy sent through your phone. Your phone is a portal, and in the digital world, information will rapidly shift consistently with this transit. Pluto is in retrograde right now, in a sign that absolutely loves technology. So with this energy in our field as well, I see some of us taking a step back from the intensity. It reminds me of a time when my mom got a massive amount of cookies from her work once, okay? And oh my gosh, they were so incredibly good. So every day after school, I would come home and eat these cookies. About a week in, I never wanted to look at another cookie again. They made me sick. I didn't even want to think about them. This is the kind of energy I'm talking about. Like, yes, getting on our phones can be a nice distraction, or it can even be a way that we do our work. but the constant informational overload will be nauseating to some of our collective. So a nice perk of this transit is some of us will lay down our devices and think on our own instead of immediately asking an AI chatbot or Googling a question. Fun fact, okay? All the answers you ever need can come to you outside of your phone. The key is to sit in silence and allow what comes forth. And if your answer doesn't appear, I promise you it will be delivered via another person at a random time. If you are a sensitive soul, remember your phone is that portal to another world. So when you enter it, you feel the energy of the collective in the land. It can absolutely be overwhelming to feel all of the collective's chaotic, erratic energy at this time. My Pluto mind over here is recommending you take some silent time every day to relax your nervous system during this sporadic energy. Silence helps slow down time. You ever notice if you try to sit in silence for, I don't know, let's say 10 minutes, you sit there and you're like, when in the world is that timer going to be over? When is 10 minutes going to be over? But you can play a game on your phone and randomly realize 30 minutes has passed. If things get chaotic and feel like they are just happening too fast, go sit in silence. You are a part of the collective, so anything that you do affects everyone. Sitting in silence slows things down for everyone. I'd also say we will see some electrical fires beginning that expand at a rapid pace, wildfires originating that spread quickly, or severe thunderstorms with lots of lightning. All of this electrifying energy in our field has to be released somewhere. We have lots of ways to naturally power things using Earth's energy, but those in charge have harnessed the energy in artificial ways to create things like artificial heat or artificial lights. You may see new inventions, or they may be thought about during this transit on how to harness this electrical energy in a more natural way. This is a time also where news may miscommunicate things because events are occurring at a rapid pace and then the news spreads like wildfire because it's shocking. Or you see interruptions happening that prevent news people from actually getting the message out. And you may even see news articles on things based about communication. It's a potent time for leaks to occur where some kind of message is revealed before it was intended to be released. Like sudden news that we have developed a plan to talk to people on the moon, or a shocking revelation that we have been in communication with aliens for years. We may even discover animals can actually talk and have been talking to us for a while now. One of my favorite parts of this transit is the original creative ways people will communicate the messages that they think of. Maybe a catchy song by someone dressed in a unique way that speaks some progressive perspectives on things. Or a movie that makes everything going on right now in the collective totally make sense. It's a time where you can find a well-crafted YouTube video that puts together points of view that you never thought about. Something like random people you've never actually heard of coming to the scene and telling you the truth about a long-held conspiracy theory, and even actually having the evidence to back up what they're saying. The collective is going to be curious about a wide variety of things and be at a high level of creativity. So I would think local communities will be gathering groups of like-minded people. This is where you can go and find your soul tribe. Maybe every Wednesday, a sci-fi book club meets in your city, or a group gathers that goes out and learns how to forage food, or a collective of people who love astrology get together and quilt. Who knows? It can be groups that come together to protest things and have strong messages for the world. You can see some really creative signs and words used by protesters during this transit, or unique ways people get their thoughts out. Anything is possible. We may see a skit with drones that tells a harrowing story through lights or something. You can even find some captivating debates arising out of nowhere that shifts long-held points of view. When Mercury and Uranus conjunct, it makes you think. Your mind grows wings and allows you to soar to great heights. And as you climb, you get up so high that you gain these new perspectives and you see what was hidden from you when you were on the ground. From this new vantage point, you see connections that stitch separate ideas into a whole woven blanket that begins to make sense. So as these two planets converge this week, I'll leave you with this thought, my little buttercups. Free your mind so your thoughts are no longer trapped in an endless loop. Move beyond conventional or conditioned ways of thinking so that you are able to generate original ideas and solutions. Give yourself permission to break the chains of limiting beliefs, fears, doubts, and old stuck patterns of belief. Watch your spirit rise and allow your unique ideas to take flight and your life to soar to extraordinary heights. Think boldly, create freely, explore ideas, overcome fears, embrace the unconventional, and become the possibility you once only imagined was possible. You got this. Mwah.